Hello again, and this time I have a different bird for company. I have a magpie sitting on the deck next to me, but I'm going to read you a story about a bird, but it's not a magpie. This story is Samantha, Seagull's Sandals. Oh, Maggie flew away. Samantha Seagull Sandwiches was written by Gordon Winch and illustrated by Tony Oliver. Samantha Seagull's Sandals. A long time ago, there lived a young silver gull who wanted to be different, and her name was Samantha. "Why am I the same as all the other young gulls?" she asked Hector the hermit crab, who was old and wise. "The same grey bill, the same grey legs, the same grey feet. I want to be different. I want to be different right now." "Ho, ho," said Hector, in a voice as deep as the ocean. "You will be different one day. Wait and see." But Samantha could not wait. She thought and she thought until she had a bright idea. "I know what I'll do," she said to herself. "I'll buy some shoes. Then I will be different." So Samantha went to the shop and she bought a pair of high-heeled shoes. "How smart and how different I am," she said as she stepped out onto the beach. Squelch! The heels of her shoes sank deep into the sand, and Samantha was stuck where she stood. "Don't be a silly seagull, Samantha," said her friend Simon as he helped her out. "I like you as you are. You are the most beautiful seagull in the whole wide world. That's different enough for me." The other seagulls laughed and laughed, and Samantha felt embarrassed. So embarrassed, in fact, that she started to blush, and her bill went red, the rings around her eyes went red, her legs went red, and her feet went red. And she flew back to the shoe shop with her shoes to change them. Slosh! Her second try at being different was no better than the first. Samantha's rubber boots filled with water and she started to sink. "Save me, Simon, save me!" she cried. The other seagulls laughed and laughed, and Samantha felt embarrassed. So embarrassed, in fact, that she started to blush, and her bill went red, the rings around her eyes went red, her legs and her feet went red, and she flew back to the shoe shop with the rubber boots to change them. Then Samantha bought a pair of slippers with purple pom-poms. They looked very warm and cosy. "How smart and how different I will be," she said. Splash! A wave washed over her slippers and made them wet and soggy. Simon shook his head in dismay. "I do wish you would stop trying to be different," said Simon. "Everybody is laughing at you." And Samantha was determined to be different. She flew back to the shoe shop with her slippers to change them. So Samantha bought some sandals, and she wore them all the time. They seemed to be just the thing. They didn't sink into the sand, they didn't fill up with water, and they didn't get wet and soggy. Samantha felt so different and so pleased with herself that she walked about with her head held high in the air. She didn't speak to the other seagulls. She didn't even speak to Simon. And Simon was sad. Slap, slippity slap. One day, when Samantha was strutting about in her sandals, she didn't see the slippery seaweed in front of her. She fell on her face in a slimy pool. Her sandals sailed high into the air and sank forever in the deep blue sea. And once again Simon was there to help her. Simon's a very good friend, isn't he? The other seagulls laughed and laughed, and Samantha felt embarrassed. So embarrassed, in fact, that she started to blush. Her bill went red, the rings around her eyes went red, her legs and her feet went red. But this time, that's how she stayed. "Ho, ho," said Hector the hermit crab, "you are certainly different now. You ho, 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 I told you so." "This is too terrible," Samantha said to Simon as she looked at her reflection. "Whatever will I do?" "Never mind," said Simon, as the two silver gulls walked along the shore together. "You Now you are different in a very different way, and you are even more beautiful, the most beautiful silver gull in the whole wide world." "And you, Simon," said Samantha softly, "are very beautiful too." And for the first time in his life, Simon felt embarrassed. So embarrassed, in fact, that he started to blush. And his bill went red, the rings around his eyes went red, and his legs and his feet went red. And what's more, that is how they both stayed. And after the story, there's some information about silver gulls. Have you seen seagulls like this when you've been down near the beach? The young seagulls have grey beaks and grey legs, but the older seagulls have red beaks with red rings around their eyes and red legs and feet. I hope you enjoyed Samantha Seagull's sandals, and maybe you heard the magpie warbling along behind as I was reading. Love you. Bye.